Hello, good morning. I'm really pleased to welcome you all here in very chilly, cold, but sunny Tallinn, Estonia. Our topic is rather hot though, despite the weather outside. We are all getting old, and there is no escape from that. And we do know also that the resources for the future demand of services in active and healthy aging, those resources are not enough. So innovation is the only way out from this situation. And actually the question, what we've been asking from ourselves is how to unlock this potential of innovation in active and healthy aging. We don't know the answer yet, but I hope that during these 2 years, next 2 years, upcoming 2 years, under the name of Project Innovation for Active and Healthy Aging, we will find the answer to this burning question. Of course, we can't do this, or we can't find the answer alone. For that, we need all the stakeholders. It means, for sure, end users. It means, for sure, funding organizations or investors of the solutions. It means policymakers. It means healthcare service providers. Actually, the whole society is behind this initiative, and we need to have answer from all of you. Today, we will discuss and kick this meeting, or to give this kickoff for this project, 2 years project. But in the morning, we will also have an hour-and-a-half discussion. What are the missing building blocks for scaling up innovation in active and healthy aging? We have a few quite interesting presentations. And then after the presentations, we will have also a discussion with stakeholders, and it's not only us who are here in Tallinn or who are online joining this discussion, but you all have a chance to say something about this topic and express your concerns, your ideas, and to get involved with this project. For that, we have a small box under this online stream, so you can write your questions, your welcoming words, or your ideas to this box. And even if I don't have time to present your questions or ask the questions from the presenters, then we will collect all the feedback from this online tool, and we will use it to have a really successful 2 years project to come. So, but I guess that if we are ready, then our first presenter is Irina from European Commission. And Irina, are you ready?
Hi, Piret, good morning.
Good morning, Irina. Yeah.
Hi. So first of all, thanks a lot for this invitation, and I'm really looking forward for the debate that we'll have a little bit later. From my side, first of all, that's congratulations for you that you are going to lead this project. And I would like to focus my presentation on a little bit situating the context for this project, so what we have been doing in the Commission before and up until now, but also in the context of the Green Paper on Aging, which was published on the 27th of January. So this is a rather a long presentation, but I will try to make it quickly, and if there is any issue, please let me know. I would cut my video for the time being. Can you see my presentation?
No, Irina, we can't see a presentation right now. Still not visible.
Yes, I would have to have the host enabling the screen sharing.
Okay, we'll do that. Now you can. Now you can share your screen, Irina.
Thank you.
And we can see your presentation, so you can continue.
Just making it as a slideshow, and we should be able to go ahead. No, this is not possible, but I hope that it's fine. Okay, so shortly about the work of our unit and the Commission on Digital Health. When we talk about enabling uptake of digital technologies for the elderly people, we normally put this in our overall strategy for enhancing digital health in member states. This strategy has three main chapters. One is to allow for secure exchange of health data. This aspect contains exchange of electronic health records, other health data, but also aspects related to legal legalization, privacy, cybersecurity, etc. We also, our second chapter focuses on pooling data together for better personalized medicine, while the third chapter promotes the use of digital tools and technologies for person-centered healthcare. And this is where we situate a big part of our research and innovation work. We have in the last 7 years of Horizon 2020 funded and managed over 80 projects only for the aging population. Those are projects on quite a lot of different aspects, whether robotics, independent living, integrated care, all kinds of virtual coaches for better well-being and aging, also helping people at work to age while they work with the help of digital technologies and still remain productive and in good well-being, etc. You are a project which will build on the European Innovation Partnership on Active and Healthy Aging, which was born in 2011. And at the time was foreseeing to build a very big community on active and healthy aging, and it has indeed succeeded. We today count more than 1,200 organizations, researchers, stakeholders in different thematic action groups. Those are adherence to prescriptions, false prevention, functional decline, integrated care, independent living, and age-friendly environments. And some of their activities are also the work of the reference sites. Those are 103 reference sites today, but they are continuing to grow, particularly in the last 2 years. Those are regional ecosystems, working to really make sure that all needed stakeholders together could work and promote the scale-up of innovation in regions. Another important partnership program that we have managed and still are in the Commission is the Active and Assisted Living, AAL program, which is a public-public partnership. And we have also worked a lot on the silver economy and produced a report on that 3 years ago, which really shows the impact of enhanced silver economy, how it could, how it is growing, also with really very quickly, with more than 5% per year in the last decade, and which provides a lot of different opportunities for many different sectors, including health. So, being conscious of the time, I am going very quickly already to what we are, what I wanted to talk about today, which is the Green Paper on Aging. In fact, the Green Paper was published on the 27th of January. As I said, it opened a public consultation, which is now open until the 21st of April, and which we invite everybody to take part in. But this Green Paper builds on the report on demographic change, which was also published in June 2020. And also following different initiatives from the presidency, the German presidency, and before the Croatian presidency, now the Portuguese presidency, who are all going to focus also on aging and demography. So I would like to present a little bit of its outcomes, because it is really important that organizations, researchers, and people who are involved in our domain take part in this public consultation in order to enhance really the importance of this challenge. So, as I said, it builds on the report on the impact of demographic change. It focuses on facts and builds on data coming from Eurostat. And some of them are very relevant for us. For example, we all know that Europe's population is getting older. But it is interesting to notice that we are talking also about a very big difference, because, for example, the median age in Europe is 42.5, while in other continents much lower, and the youngest one being Africa with a median age of 19. It is also good to acknowledge that this is an achievement of our society, because the life expectancy has increased by 10 years in the last decades, in the last 5 decades. So we are talking about also very successful health systems which have contributed to this achievement. This is also the population by major age groups, as you could see it. Very important to notice that those that are going to the population which is growing the most is the one above 80. And the age structure of our society is very much changing really rapidly. So we expect that by 2070, for example, 30% of our population would be above 65, which is a lot. and those over 80 to be more than 30% of the population. So these are also some outcomes for us. What do we really have to do for long-term care systems? How do we really have to address the capacities of those systems, and other also issues related to pension systems, for example. So, not to forget, of course, also the shrinking population of the working age, which has a lot of implication on sustainable growth. The green paper on aging takes life course approach. What does it mean? We start aging the moment we are born, and it means that we have to take active role in the way we live and in our well-being in order to possibly prevent more complex situations and diseases as we age. And the green paper focuses on 4 different stages: the formative years of our childhood and early adulthood, where we really have to focus on life learning and on healthy habits. On a working age, what kind of opportunities is given to us, but also how do we address well-being as we age? On retirement and how to live our third age in a meaningful and healthy way, and to also take necessary policy actions. And finally, when we are old and we have real needs from our healthcare systems. So, quickly on. So I would quickly say about the first part, which is laying the foundations, which means that we have to look into the concept of healthy and active aging from early on, and to have to also to enable digital literacy for people from early on, so that they could use, for example, technologies and better support their health and well-being with them. It is also related to the to reduce different risks, for example, the risk of obesity, of diabetes, or of other non-communicable diseases, and how to promote this active and healthy living concept throughout our lives. When it comes to lifelong learning, the opportunity and the importance is to start with it the moment we are born. So the earliest we start with lifelong learning, also of digital skills and literacy, the better we would feel comfortable to use, for example, those technologies as we continue throughout our lives. Now, when we go through the second stage, as put in the green paper on aging, the focus is on making the most out of our working lives. And of course, for our domain, it means also a lot of opportunities in innovation and in the creation of technologies, job opportunities, but as a whole, also how to have the necessary skills to make sure that these labor shortages that we have can be, for example, addressed with growing digitalization. To make sure that more people are included in the labor world, as we know well that a gap still persists when it comes to gender. Although women are more educated than men, they are still less present in the labor market. Finally, to make sure that also older people are included in the labor markets. As you can see, currently, until the age of 54, in average, 80% of the population is employed. After that, it shrinks rather drastically to less than 60. So digital technologies can play a good role here as well, because they often can support workers and older workers to have better well-being, to interact better with their carers, whether formal and informal, but also with different technologies to allow for them to better monitor their maybe changing pace of work, and also for their employers. So there are also a lot of opportunities for us here. I would also like to show you a very interesting map. This map, for example, shows that if we that only 5 regions in Europe are going to increase the working age population. In all other regions, the working age population is shrinking. And it is also important to notice that those are often regions with very strong depopulation. So depopulation, and also regions without a lot of economic growth. So it is important, therefore, to also take into account that those rural areas mostly have to be addressed, and digital technologies play an important role there as well. The other, when we continue through the green paper, it shows also the challenges and opportunities coming with retirement. So how to make sure that people who retire stay fit, how to make sure that they continue to contribute to the society, to the economy, to continue also to participate in life, also in civic way. Those are also policies that have to be taken, for example, in our pensions, whether they're adequate and sustainable on the long term. Make sure that gender gap is lowered.
Irina,
Yes?
yes, it's the time is running out, and I have questions related about the working age. You were just mentioning this in your previous slide, and Rosa and Timo is asking the question: when the European Commission speaks about working age, does it relate longevity and health with the future further digitalization in jobs? If so, and then how it is planned to be?
Well, of course, Of course. So when we talk about digitalization, we talk about also opportunities to remain active and to contribute to the society, also as we age. And in fact, we see also in the slide in front of you this growing dependency ratio, for example. So one way to take further the need of all older people to continue to work is also enhanced use of digital technologies. Um, but yes, I would maybe skip this a little bit. My further slide. This is the last part of the green paper on meeting growing needs of the aging population. So those, as we see, are challenges related to health and long-term care, mobility, connectivity, but also intergenerational solidarity. And keep in mind that the people that will be in need of long-term care is going to increase a lot in the coming 30 years and 50 as well. So I would like maybe to go to my last slide because the time indeed is running up. So if we could maybe shortly say what are the challenges that we see for innovation for active and healthy aging. So when we talk about demographic change, as you see, there's a lot of data one could build on. We talk about supporting people for their chronic, complex, and medical conditions. Very important to make sure that health and care systems continue to be better integrated. We know very well that they are not, because they depend on each other, and as we grow up, integrated care is extremely important. Also, how to work and provide more age-friendly living and working environments, community-based friendly houses and care, which will be centered really to the people and less and avoid some unnecessary hospitalization. Address digital skills, digital health skills for patients, for citizens, for healthcare force. Also tackle mental health issues, also now enhanced due to the COVID-19 pandemic. But most of all, and what is most relevant, I think also for your project, is this lack of uptake of digital innovations, because we all know that very few of the many digital innovations and excellent digital products and technologies that are coming out of SMEs, coming out of also bigger companies, are not taken up by those who have to use them. So you asked me to say what are my expectations of the projects. Of course, it would be great to have a sustainable model for scaling up innovation in active and healthy aging in Europe. And I hope that In4AHA would really manage and innovate to create such a model that can be taken further in the years to come. Expectation number two, there is a lot of legacy. This is a very big community, and those are a lot of innovators and researchers who have created great technologies and different partnerships. This is a legacy that you should, of course, be aware of and work with, but we really hope that you would take further this challenge in your own way. And of course, from my side, make sure that all EU regions are tackled, that we are not excluding some of those that are currently, for example, not active at all in our different partnerships and programs which aim to work on this challenge. So I stop sharing my very long presentation and invite you all to please get involved. It is open until the 21st of April. It has 17 questions, which are, you don't have to reply to all of them, but the important is that those questions are going to be then analyzed, and specific policies would be designed also according to the feedback that we will receive. So yeah, I hope you will be active in that. And good luck and enjoy the rest of the debate today.
Thank you, Irina. And we will share also the link to the this consultation in our social media. So find us in LinkedIn or in Twitter, and you can also express your thinking there. And next to speak today is my colleague from Spain. As we learned a few days ago, she's representing the oldest, or the region with the people who are the oldest in the world. Even Japanese people, I heard, are younger than people in Galicia. So Gisela, welcome, and yes. So we know that the market is there. We have a lot of people who are getting old, including you and me. And then we have a lot of knowledge somewhere. But now we need to transfer this knowledge to the real market, so we can, together with you, can use it in the future and have a fun and happy life when we are old. So do you have a key for that, or how it goes? Gisela, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much. Well, in fact, I'm not from Galicia, I'm from Barcelona, so it's a good thing that I'm here, because people are over 100. So I'm just hoping it's the water or the environment or something that makes me grow older. Indeed, it's a positive thing. It's not a negative thing. And actually, we are working in this region also to close this gap that Irina was mentioning of uptake of digital solutions. So thanks for the introduction. And as Peter mentioned, my name is Gisela, and I'm the Managing Director of the Galician Health Cluster, so for short CSG. And we are a partner of the Inforaja, and we're very happy for that. And as today I am supposed to bring a highlight on how clusters and digital innovation hubs can act as important actors in health and social care ecosystems, and how to introduce an input into a new paradigm of innovation. I'm just going to quickly fly over who we are, so you understand a bit better how clusters and digital innovation hubs indeed can work together for this. So we envision the CSG as an innovation center, and we are a professional platform for public and private collaboration, which acts as catalyst for the competitiveness of the health and social care industries here in our region. And this contributes obviously in economic and social development of our region. One of our key objectives is the internationalization of this innovation, to share it. And collaboration is indeed imprinted and necessary in our DNA. And therefore we are partners, as you can see, of ECH Alliance and TEAM, so professionals, digital health associations. And as well, we are funders of the Digital Innovation Hub Data Life in our region. So it was established, as you can see, this year we do the 10th anniversary. Hopefully we'll be able to do it presential. It was established in 2011, and you can see a bit our history, but highlighting where we are involved in innovation and in expanding this innovation, because we think In Galicia, you are born to be international because we are only 2.7 million. And as I mentioned, we are already in the numbers of 2030 of people, 30% of people over 65 years old. So we are already there. So it's a nice experimental ecosystem, so to say. We do follow a patient-centered care model, and I think this is key. Based on innovation or clinical excellence, and we focus really research, development, and innovation, and really this patient and user-centered care model. We think this is key to really improving the uptake. We also think it's key to be the channel of communication between the regulators, the policymakers, and the end users, and in between the industry and the research centers or universities must give answers to that. So overall, we see our ecosystem as a boat. So you see the picture of the typical fishing boat in Galicia, the trainera. I am actually really rowing here. I'm in the 4th position, estribor on the left. So I'm actually rowing. And because we believe that this communication is really important. So the boat doesn't reach the good port and the good harbor if the end users are giving instructions or are indicating their needs, but the industry and the research and the regulators' policies are going in a different way. So everybody has to work in a harmonic way. So we, from 2019, I will highlight our impulse of this uptake by really trying and validating the innovation in our living labs. We have 2 types of living labs. We have the more clinical living labs in coordination with the Ministry of Health, which we really work together with, and the living labs social care, which we work in coordination with the Social Affairs Ministry here. And of course, due to innovation requiring funding, we have a very tight relation with the Ministry of Industry, which is really helping with the innovation in Spain and in Galicia in particular. So as funding is important to be able to execute any strategy in whole Galicia, and I will say in any part of the world. But here in the Galician government has really focused in really aligning funding strategy with e-health strategy. So as you can see, I only put it from 2012 till 2020. We do align our different programs of innovation, which is Hospital 2050, Innova Saúde. We have Código 100, which is still up and running, Activate, related to social care uptake of digital solutions. And of course, we are a reference site that we have, of course, gone from since 2016, and to 2019, obtaining the 4th star because of this constant input on projects related to active and healthy aging, but particularly managing to involve industry and also patient associations in it. So we are quite strong in public procurement strategy, and 40% of all the public procurement done in Spain are done in Galicia in particular. So now going back to the question that I was supposed to answer. How does cluster and digital innovation hubs input into the innovation cycle? So in the last few years, and I think Irina made it quite clear, there has been, and even more now with the pandemic situation, it is clear that there's a relation between the innovation translating into person user-centered digital transformation. I mean, digitalization is something we cannot escape, and it's not something we want to escape. And it is supported by European projects that Irina mentioned nicely. But also specifically one that we're working now into it, the Digital Europe, and establishments and support of digital innovation hubs. Now, digital innovation hubs, as the case of reference sites, there's a lot in the catalog. There's a lot of digital innovation hubs. And so it is important to achieve the model, the ideal model, which is part of the objective of this project, of course, but to see how we can work together and really make it efficient. Now, here's where we have 2 structures or organizations, the clusters and the digital innovation hubs, that rather than competing, which was a bit the fear at the beginning when digital innovation hubs come into place and the different regions are trying to establish their own digital innovation hubs. I think rather than competing, we have to find a way to complement each other. Cluster offer this localism, as you can see here, that is important to really connect with the users, the need, and really connect these needs to the local industry, while the Digital Innovations Hub would help to take this vision in a broader way and kind of manage the application and execution of this digitalization. So as you can see, at the end, we have two kind of clusters. What would be the innovation in the sense of entities, associations. We will have the digital innovation clusters and then the industrial clusters, which be the beneficiary of this digitalization of the processes and products. So at the end, there's these cluster value networks that come across both. And in fact, all digital innovation on hubs in the catalog so far for May 2020, by detail of the European Commission, they are all collaborating with cluster, either in one way or another, or they have clusters that actually are part of the Digital Innovation Hub itself. In our case of our regional Digital Innovation Hub, Data Live, we have 3 clusters that we are part of the funders of the Digital Innovation Hub. We are the ICT cluster, we are the biotech cluster, and we are the health cluster. And we all lead this communication between the end users, our own industry, and the Digital Innovation Hub by nodes of innovation that we call. So the communication has to be fluent. So since they say that they will ask me this question if I don't present it, so I rather advance myself and say how clusters will collaborate with the stakeholders of this project. So I think Irina said a very good point and highlighted in red a bit the challenge that we have, and is this lack sometimes of uptake of the digital innovation that is there. So I think it's very, very important, despite it seems something very obvious, but it's not trivial to do sometimes, and we have to do a better job in communicating what is all these big programs about to the user, really. So we not only gather and delivering feedback from users, but really from us, from the European programs as well, really feed into the users. What are these projects for? What can they benefit from? How can they reach the people that are doing these projects and that are trying to align the innovation that is being done with their needs that they have asked for? And so I think this is very important. And since in our cluster we really do count also with patient associations and users associations, because it's not only patient, but it's also, we give a lot of importance to formal and informal caregivers. So the families, the people that are around from the actual end users are as important, I would say, as the end users itself. Of course, protecting always the anonymous, the privacy of the people, of course. Meeting with previous consortiums, so this slide was done before, so I can prove it, I was not changing it right now. So meetings with previous consortiums, especially to gain insights to what didn't work and what worked better. I mean, there's nothing bad about this didn't work. Well, it didn't work, and then let's analyze it. No point about crying over the spilled milk. It didn't work, and that's it. No, I mean, we have to try different things. In fact, yesterday I was talking with the managing director of TIC Biomed, which was part of the previous consortium for AHA. We do have communication and we do have collaboration between our clusters. And I even was saying, hey, what didn't work? Because, you know, we are starting this project and it's very exciting. And can you give me some insights? And he put me in contact with the person that was actually taking care of this project within his cluster. So there's talking, being open, and being grateful about the legacy that somebody gives you, and taking it into another stage with the best ideas that you can. Then contributing to elaborate of protocols for the living and testing of technology. I think it is very important the way we really collect this data, collect the data of how has this been uptake, or what are the users really feeling, or is it really helping them? Because many times we are very digitalized in sensors and other controls, and we sometimes lose the vision of what do we really want, because as Piret stressed, we are going to be the ones using that technology soon, as we are going to be in that stage of older people. So do you really want that for you? Because have you talked with the people that really want that or really need it? Because maybe it is true that we can find digital solutions that are really pinpointing the problem, but maybe it's not the way the user wants to solve his problem. So maybe somebody doesn't want to be observed 24/7 to see if they fall from a bed, and maybe they will appreciate if it can be done in another way. And sometimes we have to ask, a balance. Do you want to really be observed for your whole security, or do you want to be observed to a certain level in which you really would need the help, and then there you need that somebody really finds out that you need the help? So this is very important for us, and we are really stressing this part in our social care living labs. We have working with us in our team. We have a specialist in person-centered. They don't like patient, person-centered care protocols, and I think it's a really addition. So I hope this will contribute to a final better uptake. And then one-to-one meetings with particular stakeholders for quick updates or clarification. It is very good. We are suffering, I think, all over the world from a lot of fatigue of these webinars and things. We really miss the one-to-one contact, I would say. And sometimes we really envision these private conversations, more relaxed, in a more relaxed environment, thinking, hey, what is really going on? No, some quick updates and clarifications of how to go and how to deliver. Rather, in the middle of the path is always helpful. And also, we really, being in Galicia, on really close contact now. Borders are closed, but in general, close contact with Portugal. And since they are part of the previous legacy and they are very active in EIP and AHA, we really want to contribute to the organization of workshops, and especially cross-border of Galicia and north of Portugal. We really have a kind of a very nice permeable border in that sense, and it really helps implement this technology with a very similar culture. So it's very nicely cross-border tactic. So I was maybe very fast because I usually speak very fast, and I was afraid of overcoming my time. But so I would really like to be. We would really like to be a lighthouse and to put some light into this consortium. We are very honored that we are included in it, and we will try to work the best possible with our colleagues and learn from all of them. Yeah. So thank you so much.
Gisela, thank you for your presentation. And you kept mentioning this really important word, which is communication and collaboration. And I think this is one of the key elements in succeeding of implementing anything, I guess. So you need to speak to your stakeholders and speak to your friends and to your business partners, and even to those who are maybe not that friendly to you. So, but yeah, communication is the key element here. But thank you, Gisela. And now I would like to present our panel. And we have 4 guests lined up for the discussion. And welcome Birgit Morjoni from European Commission, Erkki Mölder from the Health Founders Accelerator here in Estonia, Professor Alicia Costa from the University of Porto, and then we have Merike Lego, and she's representing EIT Health Scandinavia. So every single participant will introduce themselves more in details. Yes, and we can start with Birgit, I guess. Yeah.
Yes. Good morning, everybody. Thanks a lot for the invitation. And like my colleague Irina already told, we're very excited to kick off with you together this new project with an important challenge on scaling up digital innovations, and then with a particular focus on active and healthy aging, because it was already mentioned by Irina and also by Gisela that the biggest barriers, or that's at least what Pirette, what you asked me to focus on in this first presentation round, is what is for you the biggest hampering barrier for cross-border scale-up of solutions. And for the scale-up of solutions, it comes towards moving from pilots to implementation. And over the last year and the legacy that Irina presented, we did a lot of technical feasibility studies or deployment studies where we tested certain concepts. Like Giselle said, we tested sensors, we tested the use of technology in order to support active and healthy aging of our population. But we now have to move towards integrating, really embedding these technologies, these innovative practices in our health and care models and in our daily lives. And that's the real challenge ahead, is how do we incorporate these innovative practices into our health and care models. And we could say that's more a local or regional challenge to embed it in the local ecosystems, and to move from product innovation towards service innovation. And moving from product innovation to service innovation is also closing the gap between technology providers, the supply side, and then the demand side, the user, the healthcare professional as a user, the informal caregiver as a user, but also the family as a user, to support active and healthy aging of our older population. So that's the scaling up of the solutions. And then the second aspect in the question is the cross-border dimension. And in the cross-border dimension, there is this big challenge on market fragmentation within the EU. So for technology providers, for SMEs, for startups who are very creative in coming up with new solutions to support us, it's a jungle out there. Every country has a different approach, a different regulation, a different market approval approach, or the users are part, or the culture is also different, little different in each country. Although we're all part of Europe, the big European Union, we have our cultural differences. So we have to work towards getting some clarity in that jungle, and some coaching, and work more towards common principles and harmonization to make it a real single market. And that doesn't mean that we have to all approach it in the same way, because there is this local flavor that is very important, but at least there are common principles on privacy protection, on security, where we could agree on more harmonized approach and make life easier of those that want to sell and implement these solutions.
Thank you, Birgit, and it's excellent bridge to you, Erkki Mölder. So please introduce yourself and.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
So I've been in the health economy and in the healthcare since 1999, and I currently invest into the existing business models and the new business models of the health. So I have seen kind of both sides of the story. So I have 2 points to make. First of all, there is a very big distinction between healthcare and health economy, or repairing the damage and maintaining or making conscious health decisions. And I think that we shouldn't take the example of the healthcare or sick care in this case, because the cost of the treatment case is so high in the existing medical systems that it's not just sustainable. So from that point of view, we have to constantly look at the solutions that are drastically cheaper or cost less than the existing hospital system-based healthcare. So this is kind of my first point. The second point is that if we want to make the system change, then this change has to happen on a different levels in the society. And there is a marvelous concept called P4 medicine or P4 health, or kind of personalized and preventive health. So what does it say? It says that the changes have to happen in 4 layers. First of all, individual layer. And this is the function of the awareness and the financial possibilities of the person or the family. The second level is the employer level, or the level of the companies, how they treat their workforce. And here we see that the actions are based on the function of legislation and competition for workforce. Now, the third level is local or community or campus level. And this has to be taken into account when we're talking about new models and new logics, how we implement new agreements in the society. Here, the main question is that is the physical infrastructure and digital infrastructure ready for such kind of changes or not? And the second question here, to some extent, are already the solidarity questions among the communities. It means that is it okay if it's for the just for the chosen ones, the new solutions, or we want to see that the whole society or community benefits from that. The fourth level is the national level, and here certainly we again see the question of social norms, solidarity, and legislation. So any change in the healthy aging logic, it has to be based, or it embeds inside these 4 levels. And now when we look at it from the perspective of the investor or the startup, then in order to navigate through these waters, then all these things have to be kind of aligning, because we cannot wait as investors or startups for 5 years or 7 years to kind of make these changes. They have to be kind of ready to change now. If not, then this company is not going to survive, and no investor is going to invest into this. And kind of the last point I want to make is that in order for a health-related startup to be successful, it has to master, again, 4 different areas of knowledge. First of all, technology. And to my understanding, very many startups actually understand what the technology can deliver and cannot. But there are 3 additional things. The second thing is business model, go to market. And we see here that kind of companies are not so well. And then there is a clinical / medical / biological thing. And we have to really acknowledge that this is really a conservative area where the code of conduct and gold standards and the kind of the consensus of the doctors is really important. And the fourth thing is regulatory. And unless the startup masters on all these 4 areas, it's very difficult to envisage that they will survive. And as the previous speaker already said, the countries are different and we have to struggle with that. So it's very difficult landscape, it's doable, but you have to adopt different models into this area.
Thank you, Erkki. So now we move to Professor Alicia Costa from the University of Porto.
Hello, good morning. How do you listen to me? Yeah. So, sorry. My name is Alicia Costa, as Pierre told to all of us. I'm professor in University of Porto, but I have been enrolled in the last 8 years in the APONAHA Any problem, Peter? No. Okay. I've been enrolled in the last 8 years in the activities of APON AHA, and is why I'm the coordinator of Porto for Aging, which is a 4-star reference site for APON AHA, that in fact is the center of competencies on active and healthy aging of University of Porto. And I'm also coordinating the reserve of IT health here in North region of Portugal. And I must tell you that I fully agree with what Brigitte and Erke have tell in their presentations, and I want to highlight here other point that for me is very important for this cross-border innovation and the scaling up of innovation across Europe, which is the development and the maintain of an effective, innovative ecosystem. In fact, everybody knows now that to achieve the market, to have, in fact, good solutions that for citizens, we need to build or to build these innovative solutions in an ecosystem. Is what we try to do in the last 8 years with the creation of reference sites, what are more or less the beginning of a tentative of creating regional ecosystems to deliver innovation, to deliver solutions for citizens. I think we need to create these ecosystems not only as a way to foster interactions, but to facilitate symbiotic relations among the different initiatives that are in place in our regions. And is important also these catalytic actions to bringing talent together to our regions, not only from companies, but also for the government and also for university. We need to think together about innovative or opportunities on innovation. We need to build this in an ecosystem way, because to have success, we need to build these regional, local ecosystems. Thank you.
Thank you, Alicia. And now, last but not least, Merike from EIT Health Scandinavia. The floor is yours, or the screen is yours.
Yes, hello also from my side. As it was said, I'm representing EIT Health Scandinavia, and I'm happy to bring to the consortium the innovators' perspective. EIT Health is a European Commission funding instrument that supports innovative ideas to the market. And during last 4 years, we have nearly 20 different support programs annually for various maturity levels of the ideas. And we have supported more than 700 startups. We have funded into more than 2 big innovation projects, and we have trained thousands of graduates and professionals how to go to the market. So we have a very hands-on view, what are the problems and how we might help our innovators. I also got the question, what is the biggest barrier in cross-border scale of solutions? And I have to say that I have pretty much the same points what our previous speakers mentioned. The first biggest problem for me is diversity of healthcare systems in Europe. Unlike other areas in Europe, European Commission has given quite the freedom to member states to organize their healthcare systems. And as a result of that, entering to the international market is really complicated, and innovators should know the specificity of different countries right from the beginning. And that's why engaging stakeholders and accelerators and local clusters is very important here. But on top of that, we have also specific features in health innovation. I would say the market is really intellectual property rich, which blocks freedom to operate in many cases. As it was also mentioned, it is heavily regulated. It means clinical trials are often needed, which makes the development process many years longer. And on top of that, the market is quite conservative for changes. The process to take in new inventions is really slow. There is a need for cost efficiency analysis, need for CE mark or IVDR certification, or there is a need for reimbursement codes in order to be reimbursed by healthcare payers. There are tenders, innovation tenders, and there is a need for a change of gold standard in order to be widely usable. So just to conclude, all this makes the product development and bringing new solutions to the market very time and resource consuming. This is all from my side for now.
Thank you, Merike. We have received also online questions already. So Merike, you mentioned the tenders, and actually one of the questions is specifically like how to incentive the use of procurement for innovation as a driver to embed innovation in the health and social care system and support its transformation.
I would say in our EIT health system, we have a living labs and test beds program in order to co-design a solution according to the procurer needs to make it closer to the end users' expectations. Of course, it should be done in a certain extent only, but this is something that might boost innovation tenders. And of course, we are teaching our innovators how to be part of what are the technical elements, what are the rules, where to get information just to facilitate the innovation tenders.
Thank you. And I would like to ask also a question from Alicia. The question is coming from Austria, from Graz. How do you plan to tailor communication between regions?
I don't know if I understand well the question. How the communication between the cross-border in my region, or
no, I mean regions as regions of Europe, like different regions.
Okay, so the connection and is a very important key for innovation. In fact, already Merrick and I have also experience in IT health, and in fact we need because we need to move our technologies across the innovation cycle, and most of the times we don't have all the skills in our region, so we need to have to participate or strongly participate in European networks in order to find the right person or the right ecosystem to help in some steps that we are more weak and so on. So we need to communicate, we need to be in most of the European networks in order to capture talent for our projects, to boost and to push our products and services across the innovation cycle. I don't know if I respond to the question. I understand well. But...
Thank you. And now, Erkki, actually, I have a question to you, because you are the one who should be really well informed what is happening, and to be able to invest, to be able to push the companies to the international markets. So actually now it's your stage is yours to say what you need, actually, how we should communicate with the stakeholders, and what is really like the key element for you to be clear what we are doing and what you expect from us.
Yeah. So as I said, the P4 model kind of gives some hints what to do. As I said, 4 different layers: individual, employer, community, and national level. I believe that the first 2 levels, the startups can cover themselves. They can talk to the individuals, they can attract the individuals into the platforms, they can talk to the employers, they can get the employers involved if kind of there is a advantage or competitive advantage for the employer to get better, healthy people on board. But what the small companies cannot do is influence the changes in the social norms and sometimes in the legislation or regulatory field on the community level and on the national level. So I think that kind of the biggest benefit that this consortium could do is to envisage kind of the framework or the ideal state where all the different countries should move, because they come from all different social backgrounds. They have set up their systems in a different way, and there is next to impossible for the startup to learn all these different systems. So there has to be some kind of consensus where we are going.
Okay, so you need to see the direction, and you also need to know where are these plugs where you can actually connect and move forward with your solutions and actually ensure for every single person in Europe to have this active and healthy aging opportunity.
Yeah. Exactly. And clearly this is kind of the ideal world. The reality is somewhat different, I understand. But if through this consortium we would be able to show the showcases. Okay, so this kind of system works in Estonia, in Spain, in Portugal, in UK, somewhere else. I think that this is the way forward to say, okay, despite of the different backgrounds, some kind of system is doable. For that, we need to establish some pilots, some discussions, what are the common elements and what are not the common elements. And I think that kind of this kind of discussion could serve a purpose in a project like we are talking about.
Okay, actually, it was also mentioned that one of the important keywords also for me is the sustainability of the systems and of the solutions, let's put it this way, because we are dealing with humans' lives, and if once we adopt a solution, we would like to enjoy the benefits from the solutions for the rest of our lives. So Birgit, can you actually bring out those key elements? What are needed to have a sustainable systems for scaling up of innovative solutions, so we will not lose the benefits of this on the halfway of these solutions?
Yes, thank you, Piret. I can just also echo the arguments that the previous panel speakers raised already on the importance of knowledge exchange or communication between different partners and transfer of innovative practices between regions and member states. And that will help to scale up, to open up that market. And you can do it with different instruments. One of that is the twinnings, or between the reference sites, to transpose innovative practices from one region to another and to learn from each other, to see what works in a regional ecosystem and how can I use these learnings and how can I transpose it to my region, to my community. And we should not reinvent the wheel, like Erkki said. We should not reinvent the wheel 27 times in every member state. We should learn from each other. We should stimulate people from moving around, although that's difficult these days, and going to learn and to see on site what is working, how the users are actively using certain solutions, and really learn from each other. It's not just copy paste from one region to another, because you have to adapt it to your cultural different systems and see how you embed it in your local system. But then together, this custom-made approach also try to see the bigger picture and where are the commonalities, and how do we learn from that to achieve a bigger engagement of policymakers? Because I think there is still room for an increased awareness at the policy level on the potential of digital tools and how they can support us in transforming our current health and care systems that are very reactive, organized in caring for sick people, which is very important, don't take me wrong there. But we should also move more to a proactive, preventive approach in keeping people more healthy. And there is a big potential for technological tools, also keeping people in touch with family. And I won't say that we need a pandemic to upscale digital solutions, but we can't ignore that the situation we're in now, it helped a lot to increase the uptake of digital solutions over the last 10 months, let's say. And an important element there to make them sustainable is involving the user and really looking at the user needs. Don't let the engineers just design technology that they think would fit the purpose. And I'm an engineer, so I'm allowed to say it, but talk to your users, use this participatory design process. Innovation is not a linear process. It's going back, learning, designing again. It's a circular process, and really design technology that fits the user needs, and then you're sure that or the barrier for adoption lowers a lot. And then not to repeat what I said before, but if this harmonized market, and it was also touched upon by Marike Erki, it's clearer rules, requirements on evidence gathering, on privacy, and security obligations, to come to this more harmonized approach and a mutual recognition. If you prove to respect or to comply with GDPR in Germany, then you will also comply with GDPR in Portugal. Why? There are local flavors in the requirements, but at least adopt the common parameters and have this mutual recognition towards each other, that companies don't have to go through the same validation processes again and again every time they enter a new market in another country.
Thank you, Birgit. And Erki, you wanted to add something?
I just wanted to say that I agree what Birgit said. We should be very careful about the wording, how we want to power the individuals. I think that we should not satisfy by saying that it's enough that we provide the tools. I think we should go further, because one of the problems of the existing sick care is that the people or the patients are really passive in this project and they wait someone to fix them. What we really want to make is a paradigm shift, is that kind of people start to make healthy and conscious health decisions on everyday basis. So it has to come to the everyday life. There is investment in time. There may be investment in kind of small tokens in everyday life. Otherwise, we will be facing the system that we have to pay for the consequences. All the solidar systems, healthcare systems, are in a huge financial pressure. And we cannot afford to get ill as we do today and help someone to fix it. So I agree what Birgit says, but it's not only providing the tools, but it's the changing of the sentiment and the incentive of the people to start managing their health.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Erki. And You know it because you are in the business for so many years already. So actually our time is up, and I really thank you all for this quite interesting discussion. I wish we could have it longer even, but it is what it is. And for the rest to you who are listening to this discussion, then you can get involved in really writing to me, or you can also see the email addresses if you want to get involved. Follow us in social media for sure, and then let's make something great during these 2 years. And really, as we said, me and Gisela, we are waiting for the innovative solutions to be happy old ladies in the future. Thank you all, and let's hear and see you in the future. Thank you.
Thank you. Stay safe.